Welcome back, Egyptology lovers. Today we are discussing the scarab commemorating the construction of the artificial lake from Amenhotep III. You can find this piece at the Metropolitan Museum of Arts. This piece dates back to the 18th dynasty, between 1390 to 1352 BC. The information is all on here. I'll just read this little paragraph. So it's from the New Kingdom, and this is basically Amenhotep's reign is a series of large, glazed steatite scarabs were issued commemorating the events in the king's life. This commemorative scarab records the completion of an artificial lake which he created, constructed by the king for his personal wife, Queen Tiye. Now, that's just the basic information. Now, what we're going to do is show you a few pictures. To continue, we're going to show you a few of the pictures of what it looks like. There are some hieroglyphs all over the actual scarab, and then we'll get into the translation. So over here, if you could see, I'll just swing this over like that a little bit. You'll see the scarab, the backside right here, which I translated. And I didn't really translate it. It was already translated by Niv Allen in 2015. He put the transliteration over here, plus the actual translation itself with some of the other translations around the actual scarab artifact. So I'm just really dividing the text that was already translated from before. So I'm just making it easy for you to read and identify the words. So here's the actual scarab from the front. From the back side, and here's how it looks like from the front. So maybe I can just zoom in a little bit here. You can see, maybe I can try to get in. So here's the front side of it. And over here you have the name of Amenhotep on there. Here you have it facing the left side if you're actually holding the scarab head facing upwards. There's an inscription over here, which we'll get to. And then over here you have another one on the right side with another inscription. Let me just generalize and tell you that over here you have the wife's name, the great royal wife, Queen Tiye, and over here you have Amenhotep himself. So you have them both on each side. And that's pretty much it. That's the explanation for this. So what we'll do is get into the hieroglyphs. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows that are being that have been translated. And what I'm going to do is read the text to you and then stop and explain some things in this that makes it very important to the Egyptologist and the history of ancient Egypt when it comes to the 18th dynasty regarding the Amenhotep family, which is, of course, we all know the famous son, which is Amenhotep IV, that eventually became Akhetaten, and his wife Nefertiti, which led to his son through the second wife, and that is Tutankhamun. So stay tuned for that, and I will go ahead and translate for this for you. So here we go. All right, everybody, welcome back to the translation of the hieroglyphs. So the hieroglyphs are going to begin here on the very top, and it's going to read from right to left because the hieroglyphs are all facing in the right direction. So we go from right to left. So we read into the hieroglyphs, and that's how we do it. So the first first 4 lines is an introductory or a title description of the pharaoh himself, and then to whom the subject of the actual scarab itself. And finally, what was made, and it'll finish off with the pharaoh basically at the end, just out of respect for the king himself. So what you have here begins right here. Now here it says the reigning year, so that's how usually it starts. The reigning year 11. So you have an upside down U, that's a number 10, and a line, then that's 1. So that's 11. And then before the majesty, right? This is the word majesty of. Now, this is going to begin the first of the 5 names of the pharaohs. This is the oldest one, known as the Horus, and it says the Horus, the mighty bull, who appears in truth. This is the Ma'at symbol, the feather of truth. The second name here that you see is the Nepti name, the 2 sisters, the Nekhbet and the Wajet, which is the vulture and the cobra. They are the protectresses of Upper and Lower Egypt. All right. And then what it says is the ones who establish the laws and who pacify, this is all pacify, the 2 lands. The third name is the Golden Horus name. This is the gold Horus, that's how it is, the Horunebu. And here it says, mighty of arm, who smites the Asiatics. The Asiatics are the 4 traditional enemies of Egypt. There's 9 in total. for different regions, but the four are the Asiatics, the Nubians, and the Libyans. The Asiatics were located in the Sinai Levant area and near Palestine. And they can go as far off to Turkey or the Hittite Empire at the time, and the Mitanni as well. Now you come over here, we come to the most commonly used names, which are the later names. You have the ones that are famously surrounded in the cartouches, or the Shen rings. So you have the king of Upper and Lower Egypt over here. You have the Upper, which is the Sech plant, and the B, which is Lower Egypt. And then you have the name, the throne name, which is the formal name of the pharaoh. And this is known as the throne name. And it says here, Neb Ma'at Re. Out of respect, the Re is put forward first, even though we read it last. So it's the Lord of the Truth of Re, or the possessor of the Truth of Re. And then you have the personal name of the pharaoh, which is only used by close companions to his circle, royalty, and officials. And you have the son of Re, which is the final title. And here you have the name that we all recognize is Amenhotep. Amenhotep is two parts. So it says Amun, and then Hotep, which means Amun is satisfied or pacified. And then it completes the title of the name, which means ruler of Thebes. And it's Heka Waset. Waset is the name of ancient Egypt for the city of Thebes. Luxor is the Arabic name. And then it says, given life. And that's the end. Right here is the end of the introductory title of Amenhotep III. Now we enter the wife. His wife is known as Queen Tiye. She is known as the great wife or the first wife, the great royal wife. That's the official way. Now you can see here, this says great royal. It's a little etchy, it's difficult to see, but it says royal wife. Here it says the word great. If you want to see it again, it's right over here a lot clearer. So this is the word royal, and that's wife, and that's great. So the great royal wife. So let's go back over here. So the royal wife, or the great royal wife, Queen Tiye. Now, out of respect, Tiye has been given a cartouche. Very few pharaohs have done this for their queens. You're not supposed to in the ancient Egyptian custom. Only Amenhotep, from what I've seen, is Amenhotep III, Akhetaten. So Amenhotep has done this for Queen Tiye, Akhetaten has done it for Nefertiti, and Ramses has also done it for Nefertari. So far, from what I know, only the three of them have done that, which is surprisingly nice. Right over here, the high regard that he holds her. And don't forget also, Queen Tiye was a commoner. She wasn't royal. She married into royalty. And she became his first wife, which is very well done for her at those times. Now, here is, when Amenhotep finished his title, his personal name, we said given life, but for her, it would basically mean, may she live. Now we begin to learn about her parents. She put her parents in the commemorative scarab. So you can see the amount of power she wielded, demanding from her husband. And here it said, the name of her father is Yuya, and he's a commoner, but he's been given right over here a determinative of an official or a nobleman. So she's given him some status. And then the name of her mother is Chuya. And she was given a very simple determinative, just a woman a determinative. So she was more modestly recorded. And then over here we get basically what has been commanded and what has been done after we introduced Queen Tiye and her family. It says here, His Majesty commanded to be made a lake for the royal wife, which is who she is, the great royal wife. Again, in the cartouche, Queen Tiye, may she live, in her, this is the word demi, D and me, so demi, the city or town, so her town of, now we have this name here, she wrote down her town from where she came, and here we have is Jerucha. That's the determinative for the town here, which seems to have a sky and a lightning bolt, so it's interesting why that was put there. Now, we don't know where this town is. We haven't found the location itself. There was some archaeological digging around, but nothing discovered. The only way we can assume is that we know that her parents have already attested, Yuya and Tuya are from the Akhmim area, which is in Sohag, and that's about north of Luxor and south of Asyut, in between there. And that's all we know. Hopefully we'll find something one day. And then it continues here. Now we get the dimensions of the pool. Here it says its length was 3,000, these are 1,000 each, so this is a plant, so 3,700, these curl of ropes are 100, so 3,700 cubits long, because Egypt's measurement was based on cubits. And its width was 700 cubits long. So that's how we know the size of the pool. So if you ever want to build a pool that size, there you go. Now it continues here. Now we assume, but we can't, it hasn't been written, I guess, from space, but His Majesty made a celebration for the opening of the pool now we're going to have the time that it was done, so we can accurately know when it was done, which was the third, there's 3 here, third, and then there's a moon. So the 3rd month of Akhet, so the season of Akhet, which continues over here, the season of Akhet. And then the day 16, so you have another 10, right? That's another 10 upside down 10, and you have 6 lines, so 16, so day 16. So we know exactly when it happened. And it finishes off here. Now the procession, right? The procession of His Majesty was in the royal barge. Now he has a name of the barge. The barge, once the lake was built, they did a procession on the royal barge of the Majesty, and the barge was called, and this is very important, I'll explain it at the end, the dazzling Aten. That's why I put it in yellow so you can see that. And here it says, and he was within it. So he was within this dazzling Aten. And that's it. That's the translation of the scarab itself. Let me quickly explain what this is. So a lot of people attribute the god Aten, the single Sundisk, the Aten, to Akhetaten, who basically eliminated all the gods and accepted just one god. But what people don't know is that before Akhetaten, for some reason, we're still researching it, Amenhotep and Queen Tiye had a lot of commemorative names of the Aten, like dazzling Aten. Why not the beloved Amun? But they called it Aten. So this harks to the future of what Akhetaten will do. Maybe he learned about the Aten, and eventually he chose as pharaoh to make him the sole god. The Aten is an abstract deity. It's basically just the Sundisk. It doesn't have any other form but just the sun that rises in the sky. So there it is. Well, that's it for the translation for this particular back end of the scarab. Let me just finish off the front end. So let me just escape this here. And I'm going to go over here and show you the front end. So bear with me a moment while I move these over here. And then we'll go ahead and give you the front end. So let me show you the front end first. So this is the front end right over here. And what you see here is the name of Amenhotep III. And here it says, the living, the good God, and you have his throne name right over here, okay? You can see the throne name right over there, the Neb-Ma'atre. And then you have over here, which is we'll read it from the end actually. It's the beloved of Horus, Lord of Behu. So this is a region area. So Lord of Behu. So that's the front end of the scarab. Now let me show you the back end. I mean the sides, the 2 sides with the hieroglyphs. Now over here you have, if you're facing the scarab upward, you'll see the actual, to the left, you have the name of Queen Tiye. You have the royal wife, Queen Tiye Cartouche, right? You can see it right over there. And then here it says, may she live. Now we're going to show you the right side of the scarab itself. So let me pull up the right side. On the right side here, it says, the good God, the Lord of the 2 lands, again, his royal name, his throne name, Neb-Ma'atre, given life. And that's it. That is the translation of the hieroglyphs themselves. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch my other video on the translation of Amenhotep III's statue at the Luxor Museum. And there you'll find that he also mentions the Aten in that statue. So it's interesting, a little historical snippet that harks to what the future outcomes for Akhetaten the pharaoh would be under his reign. So thank you again for watching, and take care.